Hey, Q Prime. Yeah, we're just starting things up. Pat's laptop is having heavy issues, so I'll probably mute my mic here for a second and be right back. Excellent. That's awesome. Okay, then let me move over
So
to this.
you have my character art. The last one I sent is the one I want to go with, if that's all right.
For sure. I will make that token up. Yeah, tech is never fun to handle, Q Prime. Hello, by the way. Hello,
Hmm?
everyone. I was just
Oh,
saying
are
hi
we
to you.
live?
Yeah, but we were audio off until just now.
Oh shit. Oh good. Wait, visual on?
Visual not on right now. No.
Okay, good. I definitely scratched my boobs.
Excellent.
So, you know. Good thing we're not fucking
Yeah, no,
live.
I would not have. I would not be visualized.
It would not have been fun. All right, I'm gonna make ourselves a real succinct shill post as I'm cringing for the potential embarrassment that could have been had but was fortunately not.
Mental image pad. All right.
Oh boy. I hate how Facebook's forcing me to open like an entirely new page called Messenger now whenever I want to message people. Have they no shame? And when, of course, the answer turns out to be no, they have no shame. Why? Why don't they? What is wrong with them? Everybody should have just a little bit of shame. Makes life a lot funner, if you ask me. But I digress. By the way, I love the mood and the art that I'm seeing so far. Just wow, vibey AF. And honestly, I'm very, very hype. Very hype. This shit looks good and it sounds good.
Indeed. Can I go video live now?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Easy.
Hello, and okay, yeah. Hold on. I need to crop this so that it's showing us a whole. I mean, I should make a copy of it. Oh shit! No, hold on, that's not what I made. Oh fuck! Do not want to make a copy of the Nibiru frame, but I want to make a copy of this. Okay. I thought I was going to like screen share with you or something. All right. This is a one shot with just a pat shot, if you will. A Patzel shot. Willkommen ein Patzel shot. I'm going to go very schnell. Okay. Probably gonna go whatever the German word for slow is. So schnell is probably some shit. Alright. But yes. We will begin with a slow wind in as soon as I make some nachos while we let some people filter in. But in the meantime, a vagabond awakens on a metal island surrounded only by algae and the swimming of things she can't see.
Intense. All right. Let me just make sure that I press send on this tweet. Okay. We are good to go. Yes. So tonight we are going to be doing a one shot just with me. Thank you with regards to the hair, Q Prime. Unless you were referring to, of course, our lovely GM tonight, Lee, because you know we all love her hair, everybody's hair. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so this is going to be a game that I'm going to be streaming quite regularly on in February on the Penny for a Tale channel, which is an amazing organization that has graciously offered me the opportunity to host something on their channel. So, in order to do my due diligence, we're going to test it a couple times before I officially run it. And this is the very first of several test runs to come. And, of course, a great opportunity for me to show off my shiny accoutrement that I got in the mail today. Hmm. Yes, of course. I'll have to send out the info later. This is just a trial run, though. We're here for a good time and a long time. Unless, of course, you mean a Pat Danielle Long time, of course, because Long is not officially yet my last name, but definitely will be. Yes, shiny for the win. Indeed. So I'm very hyped. I've read over the rules of this game, and it is very lore intensive. So I've read a good bit of the lore, but gosh, there is a thick fucking tome to get through, and it is marvelous, and I fully endorse every single page of it. But goodness, it is a book to read. So if I'm not 100% on the details tonight, rest assured I will be by the time I run one of these fuckers. I think this is just going to be a fun, sloppy first run at something that will be great later on when we have a better hang of it. That's usually how those things work. If everybody recalls, the first Alien RPG game that I played was run by Lee, and the monster of that session was the giant flying spaghetti monster, who was held downstairs in like some sort of corporate food production facility. And my character was a heartless corporate agent who killed everybody in the station and got out alive.
Amazing.
So, real fun times. We always do some sloppy first runs of any game we're gonna have on the channel. So this is that. Enjoy. So,
yes.
assuming Lee has Lee's nachos, I have awoken on a metal island.
Indeed, you awaken on a metal island. You've been here for some time. You can't remember how long. But you're beginning to, well, think at least. Hunger strikes a churning of your bowels. You look down, and beside you, there is only two things in your belongings. A net, strewn half across your thigh, half throughout the green lining the top of this thing, and your gilded attire.
Wow.
You try to think and remember your name.
Do I remember my name? Is it coming back to me?
Let's roll to remember. Oh, welcome to the Nibiru system. It is a D4 roll for success game, and the vast majority of rolls, all you do is roll 3D4 and hope you got a 4.
So it's 1D4 for this, or
3D4? It's 3D4.
That's why I don't remember my name.
Pat, there is something you can do called a flashback. Although I don't think that you can do it right now. Wait a minute, I wrote down flashback somewhere, didn't I? Fuck it. Point is, you don't remember your name, but you do remember something that drives you. There is more than one voice in your head. Something that scintillates along the amygdala. Something that churns with you as the lights in the distance pulse and flash in something you think might be called a cycle. You feel a beacon light in your mind. A primal archive.
What?
Yes. Entering synapse means sharing your mind with the Leviathan. Whenever their will extends to control you, some information slips off. Back channels open to the memories of Nibiru's fauna. An event that, although it won't provide the vagabond with a clear image straight away, will certainly make it easier to remember. Letting go is also quite calming. Even in a risky situation, entering synapse has a soothing effect on the vagabond's mind. It is in such moments of tranquility that, sometimes, we are struck by the memories of our past. Vagabonds from the wild that have been synapsed during a session gain a memory point at the end of the session. We will be abrogating the end of session stuff to make some stuff happen in session. But every time you follow your beacon, you have the potential to gain a memory point. Memory points are spent to have a flashback while you're doing another action and gain a positive memory. You can also get it by forming a negative memory, either through flashback or something terrible happening to you.
Mm.
You feel hunger in your belly. You look down at the green around you, and you know to look at it already makes you ill. You don't think you should eat it. You feel like you've already tried. There's a soft, fuzzy wrinkling on the back of your throat, a sense memory that won't be denied. Vomit.
Ugh.
But there is a wriggling, a slipping, a splashing, a Bobby Daring in the waters, if you will. Something moves around here.
Well, you know what I'm gonna do? So I've just woken here, or rather, I've been standing here, and only now am I coming to my senses. And it's taken me a while to come to. I'm gonna kneel and get as close to the water as possible, and probably like put my hands. I guess are my gloves?
You're on a metal disc that's somewhat
Somewhat
submerged.
sunken? Yeah.
Yeah.
So are my gloves waterproof at all, or are they like just are they drenched? What's the deal with?
When you awaken, you're laying on one of these beds of soft greenness, and you don't think that there's much of you that isn't damp by this point. If it was going to fall apart, it would have done so by now. Instead, it merely shimmers in the dying, distant lights.
So I put my gloves on the water, and I just kind of feel the vibrations as the waves kind of gently lift them up and down and up and down. It's kind of like a weird feral thing, and I guess I try to sense out where the wriggling's coming from, and if it's a small enough creature, I'd like to try and grab it. Oh, I've got a net. I'd like to lay my net out between my hands, actually. And see if that'll help me catch something.
You feel as if though if you feel something itching at the back of your skull, a warmth, or perhaps an electrical socket. Somebody is fumbling to jack in, static dancing between prongs. Do you let it slide in and just slop to the back of your brain as you hunt?
I think I recognize this sensation as something that would help me hunt. Do I not?
Mm-hmm.
I let it in.
All right, you let it in. Okay, so you gain 1 memory point. So you have the use of a net, which will aid you in fishing, and you're using it. Additionally, you've let it in. So you're going to roll me 5 d4s, not the usual 3d4.
Okay.
A single success. Your mind gets warm, fuzzy, tingly. Your whole body does, really. The wrinklings dance out across your mind as if though you're a shoeless girl in a Nickelodeon cartoon who's just sensed the fish, and there's warmth and feeding and wriggling and crunching, and you wake up back on the moss, and there's something in your mouth. You look down and you see the net in some torn viscera and fish, raw fish you've just consumed, brutalized, devoured. You caught a lot. You gorged yourself. You look down and there's fish bones hanging out of your mouth. It's a brutal display, and your net is destroyed. You've experienced something stressful. This feels stressful. This feels strange. Yeah. So here's what you're gonna do. You are going to make a stress test. So roll me 3d4.
All right, sounds good. Sorry, I just had to put my outfit on.
Of course.
3d4. Okay, I got a success.
Yes, you stave off the feeling of unwellness. You take it in stride. You were hungry and now you have been fed.
Indeed.
But your net is in shambles. It will need to be re-woven. If weaving is even a thing that can be done. You don't know. Or perhaps you do. Now that you have a memory point, you can use them whenever you'd like. Almost all memories you create will start with a roll. The most frequent way in which memories create is through what we call a flashback. You can invoke a flashback when you're performing an action roll. And if you invoke a flashback, you choose if you want to write a negative or positive memory. And you can spend a memory point to create a positive memory. Or you can gain a memory point by creating a negative memory.
I would like to try reweaving the net and gaining a negative memory.
Excellent. So, you go to reweave the net, and you have a memory. You dive into a past half forgotten. You remember trying to create. Tell me, what is this memory that confers what does it confer a negative to?
So I'm weaving while I'm doing this, and the memory is flooding back to me. I'm trying to create something.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps I'm trying to create something that would help me as something like a net, something more like maybe a rope. Maybe I'm trying to make a rope to escape down a tall building or something. Maybe I've got this rope latched onto some sort of banister, and I think perhaps this will help me out through the window. But well, it's a negative memory for a reason. Either I fall or I'm unsuccessful in my mission. Perhaps I do fall by my own lack of ability to weave a tight enough rope.
The fall. -1 to weaving. And, yeah, so you are now up to 2 memory points. And now roll me this weave. Only 2d4. As you have a negative to it.
Okay.
As the flashback comes and hits.
Oof.
It is killer.
Rope's not my strong suit.
You look down, and now all you really have is your gilded attire. The net is history.
No. I'm well fed. I'm assuming I'm not hurting for liquids.
And there is water here.
Yeah.
It seems to all run in one direction. It floods over things. You see other little islets of mossy greenness, but none of them seem quite as large as yours. There is a haze in the distance. Perhaps heat or something else disturbing your view? You can't be sure, but all you see is the lights of the ceiling above and hazy distance. Water.
So, is the haze in the direction the water is flowing from or towards?
It is all around you. You gaze out to the horizon as if though to gauge some distant shore. Not to the lights. The lights are on the ceiling. The ceiling looks impossible, that fathoms high. You can't be sure. You have nothing to measure it against. Or do you?
Do I? Well, these are very important questions, I suppose.
Do you feel that do you try to do it, and do you have a flashback? Do you have a flashback to a memory of do you have a flashback to a memory of perceiving, perhaps?
Perhaps I do. So, using a flashback in this instance, when I'm not. So, when I'm trying to perceive the distance ahead of me, or above me rather, and I cue a flashback, I can choose a positive memory to give me a bonus to this?
You'll need to spend a memory point, but yes, you can.
Okay. I'm gonna save that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
I think,
you can just roll a 3d4 if you want to take in your surroundings and roll a perception, though.
yeah, I think I'm gonna roll 3d4. Nice, nice.
You suspect that the ceiling above you is several barge lengths. You don't remember what a barge is, but you know that it's a pretty good length.
Shit. Okay.
You remember Assyrian barges burning off Suluptu. You remember the acrid scent of chemical smoke. You remember death spitter spikes gleaming like hot daggers in the eye as they tore through people. Or perhaps they were beasts. Who's to say? You sink into the water. And you know that the terrain around you is what one might call a reservoir. It's full of water. It pumps it all over. It has reliable waves most of the times in most places, but sometimes it goes up or it goes down. It all depends on the ice flow, doesn't it?
Wow, these are a lot of memories that are coming flooding back to me.
But
Okay.
each is soon gone like tears in the rain. They don't stick.
Damn.
Are they really your memories? Who's to say?
That is a good point. I do have something or someone in my head. Are they my memories?
You find no answer in the waters around.
I feel like a normal person would be freaking out right now. But I also don't feel like my character's a normal person.
What is normal, really?
I mean, I'm just like, I'm thinking through what she's thinking. She's definitely thinking like, I feel like I should be freaking out. As she like lies down in the water and literally lets it float her away towards the edge of the reservoir.
You're just gonna you just want to like backstroke? You want to like fully like chest up float?
I think now's the time that I spend those positive spend a memory point to get a positive memory. I want to swim good.
Swimming. Yes. I'll call that a +2. Swimming is pretty specialized.
Mm-hmm.
What memory breaks the surface of the waves, or perhaps drags you back under to the bleary-eyed depths?
So now I ask you a question. Does it have to be my memory, considering I have something else in my head? Could this be a primal memory?
I don't think so. I think you get a memory point when the synapse strikes, precisely because there's residual raw data in you. You can remember the swimming of another form.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I can remember the swimming of another form. So I'm imagining. So I'm feeling the water rushing past my form, my sleek and water affinity having form, and much like some sort of long ray, my body adapts to the water's currents, and the flaps and fins move about in ways that would enable me to move swiftly and silently through the water. And I'm imagining or envisioning or remembering this form flitting about in dark depths of these inner space station waterways, flitting about to and fro between others of my kind, except they're not of my kind. I'm a human, of course, but at the same time, they don't feel that different from me. Something is not that different. We're all rather similar as I flit about
You
and
float.
move towards the edge of the reservoir.
All right. Give me 5d4.
All right. No successes. That's a stupid bummer. Bummer. I guess I'm remembering a form that I don't have, and fuck me, I can't come up.
You do feel as if though you have a kindred relation with the spirit. You think to its brain and how it makes it. Its world is so small, its eyes so scant. You try to drift your eyes in either direction, and soon you're lulled. Soon your head is empty. Soon your thoughts are fuzzy. Soon the synapse is the only one firing. The Leviathan wraps around you, and you don't go under the waves, but you do lose consciousness. You take one. So your brain was okay, but now you're kind of stressed. For now, that's not a problem, but you don't want to go too far down. We'll be tracking it on the blue bar. Actually, we'll be tracking... Yeah, we'll be tracking on the blue bar. Fuck it. I use a green token for it, though. Whatever. Okay. You awaken, gasping for air. You feel yourself caught, as if though snared. There is a net. It is on you. You are on a barge. Not a barge, but something that floats in the water. People look down at you. One of them says, from behind a mask, "This is the amnesiac." Someone from near a puttering machine towards the front of it says, "Are you sure? Questioner." He's waking up. He raises a long metal rectangle with a slit towards you. Down its barrel, you see a silver twinkling, and you remember how deep the Death Spitters cut when they puncture and gut their target like a fish. Another set of heavy boots comes around the corner of the shanty center of this vehicle.
So am I recognizing these as Death Spitters, or are they...
You recognize the weapons in their hands as Death Spitters.
Yes, okay.
They propel spikes at great speeds across short to moderate distances, and render those on the receiving end quite dead.
And they look really cool, too. Okay. Yeah, so I don't want to get anywhere near those. I say, hey. I don't know what's going on here, but there's clearly some sort of... Well, actually, sorry. So maybe I should ask. I'm fluent in the lingua franca.
Words come out of your mouth, and they understand you, and you understand them.
Cool. So I probably these are the first words I'm saying. So I'm probably gonna perhaps grapple with them a little bit more than I otherwise would. Hey. I don't understand. What's going on?
They look back and forth and say, "Well, she sounds like an amnesiac." And this one says, "Where are you from?"
Can I cue a memory right now?
Yeah, you so
probably a bad memory. I'm having bad times, so let's go with bad times.
All right, you want to cue a bad memory? Think of a time when you were having a stressful conversation and it didn't go so hot. Or
oh God.
Yeah, is that what you're going for?
I mean, yeah. I'm probably trying to think of like anything I can recognize that is the absolute worst thing I experienced in any sort of place in my history, which is not necessarily where I'm from, but a place that I could name.
You try and reach back. You remember a time
Probably
and a place
recent or
different
something.
from here. You remember people, violence, blood. You remember a name, Asher.
Asher.
And
People around me. Are they dressed like I am? Am I dressed
no,
opposite of them?
you are dressed. You mean in the memory or where you are now?
Yes, in the memory, do the people that I'm around in Asher, are they my kin? Are they dead by my hands?
Um, the people seem dressed plainly. It is not by your hand they have died, but you remember it frightened you. -1 to staying cool.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and roll that 2d4, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say Asher.
And they look down at you and they look around and they're like, "We don't want to piss off any. We don't want to piss off any Assyrians." What do you mean? Clearly, she's lying. We've got to take this up with somebody above our pay grade. The collective doesn't do half measures. They said in the village that there was an amnesiac wandering around wearing that strange gilded attire. She's a dead ringer for their description. Hey, you're the one who told me to ask her questions. Yes, to confirm my own bias. Ah, worthless underlings. Alright, boss, whatever you say. He looks down at you and says, alright, so you're from Asher. But what are you doing out here?
Fishing.
He looks around and says, with what, your hands?
I had a net.
Yeah? What happened to it?
It broke.
Tell me the little
Yeah,
fish
yeah.
out here broke your net?
Saying, I caught some big fish.
He looks at the boss looks at him, and says, "Get her inside." He's like, alright. He bends down and begins to pull the net off of you, and he says, "The net stays on." He's like, but she said she's a masher. "The net stays on. They're liars." He looks down at you and says, and then realizing there's nothing he can really say to a woman he's about to throw over his shoulder while she's in a net, just sort of like, whoosh.
Oh wow! Throws me over the shoulder. Good God!
Indeed. Well, it's that or drag you across the metal.
I mean, I can walk. I have feet.
He's like, not in the net, and he kind of like, it's true. The net is tangling your limbs. It would be difficult. You could perhaps shimmy or crawl, but probably not walk.
Quite restrained,
he takes you inside. He leans you against the crate, and he loosens up the ones around your legs and says, "Sorry about this. Man's paranoid. We're just on an expedition. Sensitive nature. We'll get you going back to your friends." And
yeah. Hey, if you don't mind telling me a little bit more about this amnesiac, maybe I've seen them.
He's like, sorry, I'm not really supposed to talk about the job.
Fair enough. Meanwhile, my character does not know what an amnesiac is, nor why that would be stigmatized, nor who the fuck the collective is. She also doesn't know what Asher is. So, like, this was a huge bluff.
Yep. Yeah, he steps outside.
God.
You see, like, out the back, you can see this, like, there's one guard towards the back. He, like, eyes you for a moment, but then goes back to surveying the territory around. You just see more placid little islets all around.
Mm-hmm.
Some time passes. You hear voices from the front of the ship, from around the corner, and you were not tended to for the moment. You see there's a crate here. There is a tank of some sort of something with little nozzle going in and out of it, wrapping into the shanty walls that seem piled up on this metal floater. What would you do?
I want to pop the crate open sort of somewhat. I'm pretty sure, like, I mean, depending on how tightly this net is restraining me, do I have some utility of my hands?
You have the utility of your hands. It'll be hard
Okay.
to do anything that's dexterity based, but you can pop the crate. Are you trying to open it fully or just peek inside?
I just want to see what's inside. Maybe something sharp with which I could cut.
You pop it open. You see packaged containers within. Their immediate use not clear. Pat is going for that 1960s space fashion, and we live for it.
Nothing immediately visible.
You could try and rip open something or pop open a smaller box within, but...
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it, why not?
Alright, this guy is occasionally looking at you. You're trying to do this presumably undetected.
Yes.
Okay. Well then. Give me a 3d4.
Okay.
To
Can
possum.
I... Yeah, 3d4. I think that's the smart thing to do. Woo! Shit!
There's a crinkling, and you rip open a packaging, and you see within what looks to be something which, by the markings in cuneiform, you can tell is instant noodles. The guy towards the back of the ship says, "Hey, what are you doing?" He walks in, death spitter, idly towards the ground, but still in hand, and says, "You shouldn't be doing that."
I haven't had anything to eat since, well, probably a few hours ago.
He looks down at you, thinks for a moment, and says, "All right, but stick out your hands."
I put out my hands. I'm assuming they're both gloved.
Yeah.
And in gold. I'd be wearing both hands, of course, but
yeah,
it's hard to use my mouse while.
Yeah, he steps forward and grabs some of the net and begins to use it to tie your hands a bit more firmly together in front of you.
Oh, hot. I mean, wow. Oh, that's a bummer. Bummer.
All right, so you let it happen.
I suppose, yeah. I don't have much of a choice. I'm not gonna make a
all right.
thing of this.
Feed me. He pushes you back, and he's like, "Yeah, remind me of my wife." And he pops open a box. He's like, "Well, actually, like my daughter. To be honest, I don't feed my wife. That'd be a little weird. I mean, she's an adult. Anyway."
This just got a lot creepier.
Anyway, he pulls out some sort of silver packet, rips off the top, and is like, "Here, take this." And he kind of puts it in your combined hands.
Okay. It's a packet?
It's a packet of something powdery. You're not quite sure. It smells kind of like the green stuff that you were laying in, but different.
Okay.
It goes down hard without any liquid and sort of coats your mouth in powder, but you do feel some sustenance from it, perhaps.
Honestly, I'd probably be like looking out of my hand like that.
Alright. He's like, he looks at you, and you can't tell through the visor of his helmet what he's thinking, or really anything about him. Feels like a cold, dead shell. Unnatural to be girded in. He just turns around and, keeps an eye on you from outside, but after a moment... Well, okay, so you eat. There's more conversation towards the front of the ship. He's watching you pretty closely, and your hands are tied pretty tight. What do you do?
Alright, so he's watching me really closely.
Mm-hmm.
Bummer. Well, you know what? He's watching me really closely. Maybe I start eating, like, really weirdly. Just, like, go in on it and make him... Yeah, I just eat like a fucking feral animal, but like also really weirdly lewd,
Alright, so do you feel like, so if you just want to like completely give into the primalness, you could follow your beacon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, roll me 4d4.
Alright. Nice.
Alright. You just like utterly devour it. He's like, "Hey, but doesn't really have anything to say. After a moment, his eyes simply follow. No more thinking involved. Although you gain a memory point, but then you start to feel like you need more. You drop your two hands in front of you, and then you rear up towards the crate. You have memories, or something floods over you. A few moments later, or however long later, you're on your back, and there's two of them in here now restraining you. Your mouth is covered in food, broken noodles, powders. You've savaged the contents of the crate, and they've had to physically restrain you. There's abrasions and marks on you. Your body has gone down from okay to beaten. You have finally stopped moving and returned to your senses, and they say, it's like she's gone feral. You hear a voice from the front saying, wait, I need to observe this. He comes in, and from under his cloak you see a rebreather of some sort. There's a heavy for a moment before he says, ah, yes. The wild.
I spit at his face.
Alright, your spit doesn't quite reach him. You find that in addition to your hands being tightly bound, they have now more tightly bound your feet as well. He says, so, this is the fisherwoman of Asher. Tell me, is this how they behave in polite Assyrian society these days?
In polite Assyrian society, I'm not usually bound at the feet and leg and arms. Or am I put in a net like a beast?
And yet your behavior seems to have formed to it. I wonder, have you remembered anything recently?
Only how much I disdain your voice.
Don't worry. He kind of like gesticulates to these guys. They close the crate and then throw you up on it. One of them has his hands on you, the other steps back with the death spitter up, and he comes up and he pulls something out of his cloak. Strange, glowing green, some sort of crystalline fronting, various veiny contraptions connected to it. Looks like it has some sort of apparatus that slots onto a glove in his hand. And he says, look into the light.
Do I have a choice?
Well, you have full control of your head. This guy only has his hand on, like, your shoulder.
Okay. So how restrained... So I'm in a net, of course, right? And also bound at the arms and legs. What else is stopping me from moving towards the edge of the barge and jumping off?
The fact that this dude has his hand on you and this dude has his death spitter up at you.
Okay. I mean... I guess I just give him my punkest look and take it.
He says,
take what he's doling out.
He says, good. Good. And then the green flash strikes you deep in the eye like a lance of light. And you roll me 6d4. It's a powerful, powerful trauma shakes you. As you feel a memory dredged up from within. You feel that this memory, however, is a good one. You've gained an influence point for your bravery in the face of the barbarism of these agents of who knows what. Influence points.
What?
Influence points let you re-roll any number of dice.
Oh, I like that.
Or you could add a single environmental detail. You could trigger certain events, or you could use a revelation ability. But don't worry, you're not going to have one of those yet. But yes, you feel a memory, a strange memory, returning to you. A memory of things not unlike what you were doing. And as the Memotech strikes deep at your cerebellum, you feel that you get a +2 to primal attraction. You have memories dancing across coils of the mind, something primeval, something not to be understood.
Ooh.
And you feel hazy. He looks and says, "It's her." They look between each other, and he looks down at her and says, "You are very ill. You've lost your memories. As you can tell, I can help bring them back. I work for a group of people called the Collective. Or rather, Enki's Covenant. Trust that we are here to help you."
If you were here to help me, you'd untie me.
Of course, of course.
So that I don't have to, do what I did.
Of course, of course. I apologize for the misunderstandings, but we can't be too careful in things like this. He gesticulates, and the guy's like, "Huh? Okay." And then he takes off. He sheds the net from you, and they step back, and they bid you he bids you stand with a just grand gesticulation.
Am I not supposed to be able to control my token?
Oh, you are. Hold on, let me All right, bam. You should be able to control it now.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
And he says,
so I stand up.
"Now that we've met properly, let me introduce myself. I am Anu. Tell me. I'm Anukar. Tell me, what is your name?"
You're Anukar?
"Yes. And who are you?"
I am Lee. So real quick before I reply, what is the situation here? I'm inside some sort of. Where are the exits of this kind of?
Wherever there isn't a tube, you're in like a shanty lean-to built up on top of some sort of floaty barge.
So this could hypothetically be a viable exit, right?
If you could get by Anukar, yes.
Okay. I'm not interested in what you're selling. And I'm gonna try jumping overboard.
Alright, so everybody's going to try and contest this. So this is our first contested roll. The question is, so do you have any skills thus far that you think would help you here, or do you want to have a flashback, or are you just going to go for it?
Well, I would like to have a positive flashback, but I'm not sure. So I think the closest to this is probably the fall that I've experienced so far, but that gave me a negative connotation,
Well,
right?
that's to weaving.
Right. Okay, that's to weaving.
A -1 to weaving, a -1 to staying cool, a +2 to swimming, but you're not swimming yet, and a +2 to primal attraction.
Okay. Well, hold on. So, primal attraction. That's like getting people seduced, more or less, right? Perhaps?
In a bestial sense, yes.
Okay. I don't see how I could seduce these guys. I'm just gonna try and book it.
Alright, so you want to just go for it, like, straight up?
Yeah. Let's. So, do I have a memory point in the hole at all?
You've got 3 memory points lined up.
Okay. Well, then let me try and have a positive memory of actually genuinely escaping someone.
Alright, so you want to make this explicitly about escaping.
Or dodging.
Dodging.
Well, yes,
dodging.
dodging.
Alright, yeah, we'll call this I would say +2 to dodge.
Okay. All right.
And what do you remember? Cool. What do you remember of dodging?
All right. So that previous memory, I'm surrounded by dead bodies in Acer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or something about Acer. So perhaps I'm in a corridor, in a long, winding tunnel, dark and black, with only a distant lights to remind me that I'm not asleep. And out from the shadows emerges a figure It is a human, and then another figure, and another and another. Perhaps they're hunting me for some reason, or perhaps they lay in wait for those who traverse the tunnels. Either way, I'm surrounded rapidly by dark, shadowy figures, and I know they see me, and I don't have any sort of recourse other than to run. And I see an opening, and taking just an abrasion to the leg, and probably spraining my leg. In fact, in the process, I managed to avoid whatever ill fate they had in store for me. I do not know what they were doing, why I was running away from them, why they were there. I only remember that aside from a sprained leg, I did manage to successfully evade their attacks and to get into the darkness, whereupon they could not see me.
Nice. So, this is your first contested roll. You're going to roll 5d4, and they, all three of them collectively, are also going to roll 5d4, and it's going to be sum to sum. So the number to beat is 10.
Okay. Well, here's to hoping.
And so you succeed with style. They fall over themselves trying to chase you. You find yourself to the edge, to the rim. You hop in immediately as you feel a splash of water come over you. You feel like something's missing. All of those wriggling motions. You hear the guy here saying, "Oh, get back to the front. We need to get... There's a..." You splash in the water. You can't hear anymore. But you do feel something growing in the waves. Something laps by your leg. You look down. It's huge. You could even call it Leviathan. It rushes up, it strikes the ship, it pulls you down, the pressure, the current. There's a new pressure now, a new current, bringing you, sucking you. It's too much. You can't resist. You can't, as you think to yourself, resist the suck. Darkness, banging, water, splash. It's all over in a moment of intertubery. And now, with a dim vision of some few 15 feet about you, you find yourself in a shaft, or some place where water falls from above and filters around.
Oh, we have a new track. The waterfall noises. Okay.
Yes.
So,
you find to your south a deeper dive into the waves would be necessary. You see thrumming mechanical hearts and camshafts. To your east, a passageway, a green light, ruin, hope, and stains.
Well, I haven't really set foot on dry land this whole time, so I'm going to go this direction.
You find yourself in a ruined bit of viscera that reminds you of flaying beasts. You find stains here, bloody ones, ripped out bits, carnage of metal as well as of man. Or perhaps something more primal. To your south, another door, barred by a very well done vault door.
My, look at that asset. It's almost as if you can purchase it by going to Drive-Thru-RPG and looking up Apocalyptic Americana.
Yeah, it's almost as if you drop !Fallout in the chat. You'll also get a direct link there. Wow.
My goodness, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
What a convenient link.
But yes. You see a torn machine, some broken pipery, and a glowing bit of torn out machine that thrums with a strange engine-y sound, gurgling, wanting, wet, slurping, some sort of plasticky, organ-like interior exposed, glistening wet, as if they're wanting for the blowing, watery pipes that no longer connect to it.
Well, the glowing, is that produced by anything in particular that I could...
It comes from several studded lights off the top of this machine.
So it's hooked into something. Alright. And the pipes here aren't doing anything.
This pipe, you find a broken pipe end that spews some trickling of water onto the ground.
Is this door accessible?
You see before you smooth, beveled walls and a vault door. Nothing else besides.
So there's no sort of hatch or any sort of wheel that I could press, or no buttons.
Nothing immediately obvious. You could try and study this machinery.
Okay, why don't I? 3d6 or 3d4?
3d4, yes. 3d4 to study the door.
Yes.
Under the gentle ministrations of your hands, you find the latch around the side. Pull, push, click. All too familiar. And it rolls aside, revealing to you a new chamber.
Oh, wow. Fancy.
Yes. Light streams in from the east.
I think I move away from the light instinctively, and I look over here.
This is the deep water in which you could submerge yourself to swim. You do notice, however, over here a panel of the sort you were describing earlier. It has several buttons and latches. They
is
seem.
There cuneiform on it? Do they say?
Yeah,
anything?
there is cuneiform around them. You ponder at some of the words. You're not sure you understand all of it, but one of them seems to be green or go or perhaps power.
Green, go, power. Interesting. And alright, so having assessed that, let me take a look inside of this room.
A long shaft. And then light up above. The lights down here are dead, but the lights up there, well, it should seem to be the ceiling of the greater reservoir you were within is apparent up there.
Do I see any of the goons or anybody else at all?
To look up to the light from this darkness is blinding. You can't see well, but you do hear lappings of great bodies of water, footfalls, muffled voices. There are people above.
I don't know that I trust people.
Something whispers at the back of your mind, affirming this. It tells you to seek secrets in this place.
Back up. I know this is here now. I'm gonna stay here a little longer to ensure that I'm safe when I encounter people again. I'm gonna go over here and start pressing the buttons that say go or green.
The metal wall begins to fulminate, melt, mold, and then swiftly invaginate itself. A portal appears.
That was the word you just used. Fascinating. Alright.
You step down into this chamber, and a glow begins to overtake the land. The small vestibule into which you've entered.
I look over the surroundings. This is a throne or a chair of some sort. Does it feel familiar?
It does not feel familiar to you, but it feels familiar to someone. You look down and you see that there is something in a tight sheath at the ground by your feet. It looks like a boot knife removed from the boot.
Oh.
To examine it shows tightly smelded alloys, a sharp blade, a notched rear.
Well, that's going to be useful in an indeterminate period in the future. So I sit down in the throne.
Yeah.
Are there panels? Is there anything
Why
I can
is...
interact?
Sorry, roll 20 is deciding to be really stupid right now.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a bit of machinery to your south. It appears ready to show you something. It seems to show water levels, vestibules, circulations. The images jump out at you, quite literally, and suddenly they float forth towards your eyes.
Wow. So I take that all in stride, as much as I can.
Yes.
What am I...
You are seeing many graphs and blips and bits of information. They tell you about pressure valves and security designations and access hatch overflows, clogs, thermal sensors jammed, maintenance needed, maintenance unkempt. You find something different. A server node. It seems to be for passing information. Something's familiar about it to you. You swipe at some runes and you've already entered a password. It opens. You see one message.
Okay. Well, I opened the message.
It says only, Enki's covenant is en route to the reservoir. We've released the beast. We hope she'll buy us time. If you're reading this, meet us in Asher. You'll know us by the lantern's light.
Release the beast. We hope she'll buy us some time. Ah. Okay. I devote that to memory. Okay. Okay. So there's schematics of this place, yes, or something like of the sort. I think you mentioned something about, valves.
The plans here are vast, overarching, hard to decipher. They give lots of information, but none of them would be immediately useful to you, nor does it indicate where this place is in relation to anything else.
Totally valid. Are these doors?
No.
Okay.
They are strange wall patterns.
Fair enough. So I've reached the end of the road here. I guess I'm going to turn all this off.
You wave your hand and there is a dimming. Ooh, ooh. You are in the dark again.
I'm gonna grab that shoe knife. Does it look like it would fit my boots? Or whatever.
You look down and see that you are not wearing boots so much as gilded stockings as your attire. There's no room for a boot unless you could find some strap to affix it around your thigh.
Fair enough. Seeing no boot, I'm going to go ahead and stab this computer console and destroy it.
Roll me 3d4 unless you have a flashback that helps with violence. Actually, roll me 4d4 because you're using a knife.
Bummer.
You scratch the surface of the machine. There is a whirring, hissing, glass comes out at you, heat comes out at you, lightning dances up your side. You're no longer beaten. You feel instead that you have become wounded.
Oof. I hurt myself in the process. Fuck me. That was a dumb move.
I will say, you do have an influence point you could use to re-roll those if you want. If you think it's worth it. Wounded, I will note, let me quickly take you to body damage. Beaten, you just go back to okay. Actually, I think you beaten because it says you go back to no. I'm gonna say the scene. This is still the same scene, but you go back to okay at the end of the same scene if you at the end of the next scene, right? If you're just beaten, but if you're wounded, it could take days and medical care to take care of.
Oof. So maybe I should reroll. All right.
Or
go ahead and
I will say one other thing you can use influence points are for is you can add a single environmental detail.
Add a single environmental detail to the scene.
Something about the scene which might mean you don't get hurt.
Okay. I can't think of anything immediately obvious. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that reroll yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use an influence point to reroll.
Boop. You spend your influence point.
4d4. Okay, that's much better.
All right, yeah. Instead, yeah, you expertly jam your boot knife in. It shorts, breaks, you twist. It's gone. Destroyed. None will use this in such a fashion again. The glass glitters brokenly about you, meaningless in the dying of the light.
Cool. Well, this is interesting. Okay, I guess I'm gonna go up, back up the stairs then. What's in the water? Is there anything?
You hear movement. Fish. Or something that slithers through the waves. If you dove in, you feel you could use your primal attraction skill to bring it closer.
That I'm definitely gonna go do.
Alright, roll me 5d4 as your +2 to primal attraction.
Ooh, and I don't have an influence point.
So you hop into the water and you splash. You make the motions, you make the moves. Part of you almost feels something burn in your nostrils, stick at the end of your hairs. You feel like the water around you smells differently. You feel like the fish will come, but you feel like you hear something else coming just a little quicker. You look down, and you're deep in your writhing now. And a tendril reaches up towards you. It takes you. It slowly slithers over first one leg, then twines between your thighs and goes for the next. What do you do?
So are my Leviathan instincts at all?
Well, I will say, you do feel that you kind of. That was a Leviathan-y thing you did there. You feel like you might be raring to open the synapses. Do you wanna rely upon it?
I think I lean back on my influence that's been so helpful.
You feel here, however, a schism.
Go.
You feel a schism here, a twist between two things. Part of you in your gut and part of you in your brain. You feel dueling influences within you. The predator and the prey. Which do you answer the call of?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I feel like there's less resistance if I go with the prey in this instance. But I'm not sure I'll survive if I do. So perhaps I should go for Predator. And my actions thus far have been quite dynamic and assertive.
All right, yeah. So you follow your beacon and you gain a memory point. So you're just as a reminder, because you can't see your sheet right now. You're at 3 memory points, and you don't have you have a knife with you, which you might use in a primal fashion like a fang or claw. But you don't have anything. You don't have any skill that's relevant right now, other than perhaps maybe I'd give you half of your swimming +2. Do you want to have a flashback to a relevant memory, good or bad?
Sure. Let's make it. Yeah. Let's make it a good memory.
All right. What do you remember that will help you here?
Probably something in which I was fighting some people. Close combat with a
Yes,
knife.
a knife fight, a deep, twisting knife fight in a sophisticated series of tubes. Water rushes back and forth, knocking your foes, but not you. All right, so I would say this is going to be a +1 to melee because melee is a pretty broadly applicable one. So it's a +1, right. But so with a dagger, with your boot knife and your melee, roll me a 5d4. You are going to be contesting something.
Kind of figured. Hey, let's hope you don't get a better than 13. You're gonna get like fucking 16. Oh, brilliant, 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 bloody brilliant.
You stab, as it's winding its way up towards your torso, you stab the tip. It shrieks, blood goes all over, and it then bashes you hard. You're wounded, but you were thrown up, and your form, wet and damaged, lies here at the edge. You are no longer entangled. It recedes, but you feel when you inhale, like something strikes at your nostrils, something hard, something pheromonal. Roll me 4d6 as you feel stress from this. You managed to keep it together. Yeah. You managed to keep it together, but you feel as if though you have been marked by this creature. It will have an easier time finding you in the future.
I guess I'm wounded, right?
Yes. You're really fucked up.
I spit my blood into the water, and then I move off.
It's one last defiant act. Yes, so you ascend towards the light.
Can I take a rest first?
You can sit and collect yourself a moment. A short breather will bring you to full mental, but it will not heal your body. You are going to require more extensive care from these wounds.
Well, then I suppose I might as well just go out.
Alright. You ascend into the light. You hear people. And funk. Yes, you find yourself in a village. You smell gutted fish and see lots of people. Somebody looks over in surprise and says, "That door is opened." "What?" And someone says, "Oh no! That person looks terribly wounded. Somebody." Quickly you're crowded out. A lumbering machine walks up, looks down at you, and offers a hand. Several people crowd over and say, "Who's this? What's going on here?" They seem to have just finished up a big market day feast. You know that these fishermen like to eat all at the same long metal tables in the fish market. It's where many a love story is made. You see little floater islands and islets, and you see a hazy mist hanging over the vents. With a strange sensation, you feel like you've found the edge of the reservoir. It was always that misty ripple that you took as the horizon. Perhaps you weren't too far from land after all.
Damn.
Either way.
That's an excellent time for me to take a 5-second break to use the bathroom, because I desperately have to go.
Okay, yeah, no. So we'll take a 10
Just
minute
5
break.
seconds, Bob. Oh, do we have to do 10 minutes? Like, I could do
No,
that later.
we don't have to. Yeah. I'll keep people
Give me a
talking.
sec. Just give me a sec.
Yeah, so welcome. For those of you unfamiliar, Nibiru is a really cool game that Pasca and I'll be co-DMing, but it's gonna be Pat's game. We're gonna be doing a pretty big one of sooner than it'll be a Friday slot game on Roleplay TV and Nibiru tabletop RPG. And yeah, they had a successful Kickstarter. It's a pretty cool game. It's got a very loosey-goosey sort of system. While we're taking a break here, I can probably expand the map off to the right a bit and add yeah, it's a lot of it is about like trauma and mental knowledge and such.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool one, Lerp.
Yeah, no, Lerp, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The book is dense with lore. It is very akin to Change Stars in those respects. And it's got like a Mesopotamian vibe to it. I'm going to be playing a lot of it on Fridays, just like this, on Penny for a Tale. So that's going to be great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, no, Lee, I'm back, so we can resume. Sorry about that.
Certainly.
Nature calls.
Yeah, so you feel yeah. You were quickly crowded over by the various peoples of the village. And people come in and quickly someone's like, "Oh, we need to get her to a doctor." And they offer to bring you to the site of a man who seems to know what he's doing and offers to patch you up.
Yeah.
He says,
Good, because I'm quite taken aback by the kind of huddle and bustle of people around me.
He's like, "Oh, please stop crowding her and fetch her some fresh waters." You notice there's some dirtier waters under the town than there are outside of it. He says, "Yes, and come. I'm sure we can find you some shanty to rest in. Tell me, what attacked you?"
Some people and then a thing in the water.
People? There's violent vagabonds going around?
Yeah, violent vagabonds, exactly.
How many of them were there? How well armed? Are they nearby? Are they down there?
No, not down there. I fell into the water. Escaped them.
Well,
some people with splinter shooters and what is it? Spine shooters?
Death spitters.
Death spitters. Some people with death spitters and.
Oh my, they're rather well armed. They must have been from some city-state. Anyway,
Probably.
lie down here. He puts down like a bottle of something that looks brownish and says, "Take a sip if you need it." Yes, he bandages your wounds, sets some sprains, and says, "I suspect you'll need a few days off of your feet."
A few days, I suppose. Yeah. I lost everything that I have. I think
That's
aside
terrible.
from my own clothing.
What is your he looks down at you, profession?
I'm from Asher.
Oh?
Fish.
Well, there's no I didn't know that you could fish in Asher.
Not in Asher. I'm fishing here.
Oh. How long have you been here?
A while?
I suppose you've been around some of the other villages then. We are a bit out of the way. Only access fence lead here.
There was conflict, and well, here I am.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, you're welcome in our little colony. You see a little flash at the back of your mind.
Huh? What's the flash in the back of my mind saying? Goodness, like I definitely want to listen to that.
It feels like the computers. I feel like the computer said something that you didn't quite understand at the time. Something about violence. Something about blood. But anyway, he says, "Welcome in our little colony. But yes, take a few days off. Come by and have some fish when it's fish time, and we'll have somebody bring you fresh water and get you as patched up as we can. And yes, we're always happy to help a fellow fisherman stranded. Perhaps when you get your strength back, you can help us do some fishing, and it'll all be square."
Yes, I would like that very much. Thank you for your hospitality.
Yeah, so Dr. Timoon tends to your wounds.
Very articulate for someone who just remembered words. Yeah. But you know.
Dr. Timoon is very, he tends to your wounds, he takes care of your needs, and everybody in town seems to listen to him to some degree. But mostly people just fish and exist. The stalking metal machine comes by every once in a while. It feels dead to you, or not as alive as the animals that you consumed or fought with. It looks at you, and then it just sets down a box and goes back to what it was doing, mostly lifting heavy things. After a day, you get back your strength and feel you have your sea legs. Someone calls and says, "Hey, it's lunch." The fishermen all come in and gather around the metal tables. Do you join them?
Am I strong enough to join them?
Yeah, after a day has passed.
Okay, a day has passed. I suppose I would, yeah. Let's see. Dr. Timon seems to be respectable. I guess I'll sit opposite him.
Yeah, everybody, greets you, and people have some nice small fish fried up. Mm-hmm. And he says, "So, tell me, stranger, it feels strange to have had you in my care for so long when I don't think I know your name."
Ah, yes. That's excellent. You're correct. I suppose I haven't told you my name. I would like to trigger a memory, please, Lee.
You can spend a memory point to remember your actual name. Do you want to?
I think I'd rather leave it up to chance and come up with something if I don't remember it.
Well, so here's the thing. These flashbacks happen as part of action rolls. What action do you take to try and remember your name?
Ooh, you're right. This is a good point.
The people up and down.
I'm going to try and lie to him.
Okay.
I'm going to try and lie and say that I know what my name is.
Okay. You're gonna have to stay cool to make this believable, and you have a -1 to staying cool. Do you have any other memory you might have a flashback to that'll help you lie?
Nothing that I've done so far, I don't think. But
do you want to trigger? Send a memory point to trigger a flashback on it?
Yes, I'm gonna go ahead and trigger a memory flashback. For probably a negative because I don't have any more memory points. No,
you do. You got 2 memory points. Hold on. Oop.
Oh, okay.
That's your memory point tracker right there.
Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. I thought that was on the other screen. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and spend a positive memory to lying. Or I guess convincing, or however you would like to phrase it.
We'll call it if it's so specific as lying, I would call it a +2.
Okay. Yeah, lying. I'm going to say yes. I absolutely remember my name, and I remember a time when I lied. Probably. Okay, so now I actually have to ask you a question. How much of my backstory can I write?
It's basically in this game, so far as I can tell, that's basically up to the player.
Okay, cool. So you've told me that I've been in a battle, and
Well, you've
I've
witnessed a battle at least. You
or
might have.
witnessed.
You're not sure if you were a participant or a victim or what.
Okay, and I ran away from that battle. I've definitely established, or I've run away from the aftermath. And Asher came to mind. Conflict involving Asher. I think I'm telling somebody that yes, these weapons are completely legitimate. They're designated for Ashurian soldiers for sure, and I'm absolutely not going to be giving them to rebels. So, yeah. Something along those lines.
Yes.
Probably more like, grizzly-looking martial dude looks me over. I look grizzly-looking martial dude over, and he says, "These papers don't quite line up with what I'm expecting to see. I wasn't expecting a shipment today." And I look over at the guy and say, "Are you sure you weren't expecting a shipment? Do you want to tell that to..." And he looks over at me, and I'm just like... And he's like, "These weapons, where are they headed?" And I'm like, I give him a location that obviously I don't quite remember exactly. It's all kind of hazy.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And you give me a 4d4.
Okay. Boom. Roleplay for my dice here. This is actually a really interesting system. Holy shit!
And you succeed, and yeah. So.
Do I remember my name?
Well, you certainly remember a name.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Ooh, what's the name I remember?
Example. I feel like there's a whole list of example names in here, and I can't find it because I can't navigate this book. Alright, whatever. You think your name is Asha. Or the name Asha comes to mind.
Okay. After stalling for a second by going like, "Yes, my name. Of course I know my name. Ha ha ha, like the back of my hand. My name is..." Oh, funny story here. And then, finally I get around to saying, "Asha. I'm Asha. Asha of Ashur." I mean, that goes without saying, but yes.
Asha the Assyrian, I see. Well, pleasure to have you in our humble village. You've enjoyed your fish, and the conversation has been stimulating, but you do feel your wounds aching you, and you feel like you might return to the confines of your bed for the next day.
Suppose I do. I thank him profusely for again his hospitality and for putting up with my bad eating manners, because of course I'm fucking feral. So,
yes.
Yeah.
There is pulsing of light. It marks the coming of cycles, when the light is on or off. The energy passing around the local cycle, showing you something. Well, a flicker, a pulse, a light. It's dark. It's night, in the sense that they have it here. And only the robot really is around. It moves back and forth. The waves stir nearby.
So the waves stir nearby. Perhaps I wake up. Perhaps I put my gloved hand in the water once more, like I did that one time when I was fishing.
Alright. So are you trying to just sense them or to attract something?
Probably attracting.
Alright, then give me a 5d4 for a primal attraction roll. Alright, you see some small fish come, but it's long. It takes a while, and it's a single eel, rather. That's strange. It feels like the waters are emptier than they should be.
Interesting. I suppose I honestly stroke the eel and let it be after perhaps removing any sort of parasites it may have.
Sure, you remove some tick catches. Lovely little morsels to just pop in your mouth if you're a feral bitch like Asha.
Yeah, nah, she's that badass.
The eel goes on its happy little way. And you feel the eel leave, and you feel sleep calling to you.
Okay.
You rise and eat and rise and eat. The people grow more dour, but you are fully healed. The doctor comes to you. It has been about a week since you've been here. I too stroke the eel on occasion. Yes, lamb. Very nice. Dr. Timoon says, I must confide something in you, stranger.
Yeah, please.
One of our fishing ships has not returned.
Where from? The waters, they're stiller than I expected.
Yes. We have had to range further and further afield, and now I fear I know why. I believe that something stalks our waters. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there are people who have said that this began when you arrived.
I see.
Tell me, are you familiar with the Leviathan? That thing that people say is at the heart of all beasts? There's a story in a culture which was once here,
Yes.
of those tied to the beast.
What of them?
They lost a war, and with their dying breath, they summoned something from the Leviathan's core. Something that still hunts this reservoir. Mostly it stays deep out at the center, where none dare tread.
Is there a way to unsummon this thing? To appease it?
He steps back and says, well, if there is, I'm not sure what it would be. Perhaps some archive here could hold more information. We don't really have... There aren't any terminals up here that have that sort of information, but perhaps somewhere below.
I look at him in the eye and I say, I will confess. I hear something in the back of my head.
He looks at you.
Something.
Scans.
Something water.
He seems disturbed and says, I must confide something else in you. I have been trying to keep other ships away because we heard tale of a woman in gilded attire who was being hunted by people from the city-states. Strangers. I've become convinced it's you. If you're hearing strange things in your head, it's all but certain. We can't hide you here forever, but we can help you on your way, but we have already taken on a great risk. I hate to ask this of you, but do you think...
And I don't want to burden you any further. I want to help you.
Do you think... You must appease the beast or kill it?
Can you tell me more about why they're hunting me before I try to appease the beast?
They're not clear. All they'll say is that they're looking for wandering amnesiacs, and they're offering good compensation for anybody who turns you in.
I don't even know why.
They have your physical description down to the clothes you're wearing.
It's obvious that they're pursuing me. But I wish I could know why they were looking for me. What it is about...
We left the city-states because we don't want to have to worry about such affairs and people wanting others in unfortunate ways. I'm sorry, but these things are beyond me. I am but a humble, rural reservoir doctor. I have done all I can in mending your form.
Yeah, I pat him on the shoulder and I'm like, and so you have. And I suppose it's time I return the kindness. I don't know if I can ever appease the city-states. But if I have the power within me to appease the Leviathan, then perhaps that's what I should do.
Perhaps. Dr. Timon, somebody calls for Dr. Timon. He's distracted for a moment and says, I'll be right back. After a moment, the robot walks up, looks down at you, and an electronic chirping you've never heard comes with a bleeping at the face. It says, I know how to contact the Leviathan.
You? You do?
I have accessed several local nodes not available to organics. Maps, burned memories, broken stations. What was, and may yet be mended. I see the connections. I do not understand. I lift. It is written on my soul. But before that, there was the spark. In the spark, I remember all things Nibiru when I touched them. When I touched, I felt, below, a substation, a pocket of air. Something which permits communication, a deep, deep swim, hard for a human to make.
Try me. I think I can do things that most humans can't, or don't want.
We will see. I want this. My task is to ensure this village is orderly. To ensure this village persists. This village will not persist. If they die, it will fall into ruin. I cannot move every box on my own. So they must live. I will take you tonight. Prepare yourself. We go when none watch. Do not inform the villagers. I do not want them to follow.
Acceptable.
And so it is.
What of the doctor?
He says, he looks down at you and says, define doctor.
I will inform him and none others.
Wait, no, so that's what you say when he says define doctor?
Oh, sorry, no. Sorry, I thought you said fine doctor, not define doctor. Sorry. When he says define doctor, I say, Dr. Timoon.
You call Timoon a doctor, but by my definition, he cannot be.
Why is that?
Doctors take an oath. Do no harm. And with that, we find ourselves at the 10-minute break.
Ooh, edgy. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if you, yeah, I'm good for a shorter break, but I'm assuming you want to take a 10-minute full.
Yeah, I at least need to go top up on my beverage.
Cool, cool, cool. I will do the same on my end, and we shall reconvene whenever it is we can reconvene. I'm gonna try desperately to find the plugin for my mic or bleh,
Okay,
mouse.
gamer. It might be on the floor because I heard a lot of things falling over while you weren't here.
Nah. No. I don't think it's on the floor. That was you actually heard that when I was here. I was just not on screen, and I dropped a whole bunch of shit all over the place. But it was not. It's not here, to be sure. Anyway, I'm gonna go search for that, but I'll be back in 5. See you soon.
Hello, gamers. I'm back for a 10-minute break whenever Pat arrives. Here's the little mud pit. There's water underneath. You might have to waterfall sounds. Yay.
I might be able to. If I pull some funky shit. Alright, hold on. Okay, I have returned. And I'm thinking I might be able to use my mouse while also wearing these gloves.
Did you find the plugin?
Hell yeah.
Nice.
This is an added bonus for anybody who's still here with us after the stream, or after the 5-10 minute break. I am putting on both gloves! Whoa! Look at that. Okay, actually this is not gonna work. It's not registering this as a functional... Oh wait, it's off? Bummer. It's not doing the thing.
Do any of the top or side mouse buttons do anything?
Hmm? Yeah, it's not really registering it as a
No.
mouse. Oh well. Anyway.
Function.
Bummer. I'll unplug that. We can work on that later. I'm ready to go.
Hi.
When you are.
So, Asha, yes, the robot, affectionately known as Flathead,
Flathead, yes.
has informed you, or has basically, you know, doesn't consider Timoon a doctor, and also just reiterates tell no one. Someone yells, "Hey, Flathead, help me with this box!" And he says, "One moment." He picks up something near him and says, "I must resume. We leave when the light fades." Nope.
Okay.
Dr. Timoon returns and says, "Oh, sorry, I was called away." Anyway, about the Leviathan. I don't know what the beast down below is or its relationship with the Leviathan, but I do know that it may be possible to kill that thing, but you'd need weapons. Weapons like those death spitters, and the right bait to draw it out. But I don't know what could do that.
Ah, yes. I think I can imagine what sort of bait it would prefer. In my head, I'm envisioning a peaceful solution to this, in which I do not kill the thing, but rather convince it to not to.
Yeah,
Not
so
fuck over this one per town in
yeah,
particular.
he's
But I don't know. Maybe I'm just
he's
being
open to
lazy.
that, but he just doesn't know, like, what might be done, and he doesn't have a good lead.
I'll take whatever guns he's offering, though.
Well, he doesn't have any guns.
Yeah, no, I'll take the guns because I have to use them against people.
Well, he doesn't have any
Yeah.
death spitters.
Well,
he's
I'm open to offers of.
he says,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I don't know where you could get some, but I do know that there's people looking for you had them.
Yes.
He says,
Have you heard of them in the past few days?
He says they're checking villages. The time will come when they come here too. It should be a few days at least. I've had some of our sailors claim that there's a sickness going around that might stave them off for a time. Now then, the best I can offer you is a fishing spear. He pulls out a something with a sort of a seafoam fragmented glittering head tied to a pole and wrapped with wire. You have a fishing spear.
One fishing spear acquired. Thank you for all your help, for everything. What is I noticed that your fishing accompaniment here is predominantly people. What's the story behind that one flat-headed robot or AI?
Flathead? Yes, well, someone fished out a core and put it in a body and made it move boxes. I think it was done by someone in another village, but Flathead wound up being our village's robot after a trade of some value, I think as part of a dowry.
Interesting. I was just curious. Seems to be different from everybody else. Sticking out.
Well, he is a machine, I suppose.
I suppose.
Well then, tell me if you have any thoughts, but the days are ticking away.
Yes, no, I will endeavor to satiate the beast.
Excellent. Thank you for everything. And he's gonna go off do some doctory things. At one point, you are visited by a woman who brings you some fish. It's Behella. You've met her a few times. Everyone's pretty down in the dumps the past few days, but she seems happy enough. And hey, she has a fish.
Yeah, I suppose I take the fish she's offering and probably begin gnawing on it raw before
she's
look at her. Like,
yeah. You just like start eating this fish raw.
I'm fucking savage. Yeah,
all right, yeah. Give me a 5d4 primal attraction.
Wow. Okay, she's into it. Shit.
Where is she?
Wow. Okay, I guess she is actually into.
Yeah, she watches you devour it, somewhat silently, and she steps forward and says, "There are some people in my village who say that they think that they should sell you out. I don't think that there's anything we can do about it, but you should know that I don't think that we should sell you out, and I think that if you can make the monster go away that's eating all our fish, I think that they would accept you. Maybe you could stay."
That does sound nice. I've grown to enjoy the company of those around here. It is unfortunate that some are less interested in my staying, but
it's just they're desperate. I mean, it's been harder and harder to get fish lately, and it's kind of our whole thing around here. If you don't have any fish, then we can't eat or trade.
Of course. I understand. I may have a solution. I think, I hope.
Really? What are you gonna do?
Well, I'm not quite sure yet, but going to try to appease the thing.
How do you appease something like that?
I don't quite know, but I've got a voice in the back of my head that seems to be telling me.
She looks at you slightly askance and she says, "A voice? In the back of your head?"
Something primal, something connected to everything.
She says, "You sure you're from Asher?"
I'm sure I'm where I am and who I am and what I am and
But you're not from around here, right?
I don't feel as though I am. I certainly don't recognize anything.
Alright, give me a lie. Give me a 5d4 to lie.
Oh, God, is this a lie? Shit.
Well, I mean...
I didn't realize I was lying.
You're not answering any of her questions, and she's looking at you like you're kind of sus. So you gotta hit her with that suaveness.
Okay, I guess I fail.
And she says, she steps in and says, "You know, if you are one of the people from before, it's okay. You can tell me. I promise I won't tell anyone."
The people from before?
Yes, from before this colony.
You mean...
The people that summoned the Leviathan. If you have a connection, maybe you're one of them.
I don't know.
You don't... Are you...
I don't know.
You don't remember.
Please, look. This is not something I've shared with very many others of the folks around here, but I don't remember. I don't know why. But I feel something. Some connection to something. And maybe that something's the Leviathan, and maybe I can convince it to let you live in peace and fish as you will.
There is hope in her eyes, and she profusely thanks you.
I don't know if I've just lied to her or if I've told her the truth, but feeling as though I'm developing ties to this community.
Yeah, she looks satisfied, and she scampers off. Day is, or the light is fleeting. The flicker, the synapse, it's all bleeding away, and soon it's dark. Flathead is here. Flathead says, "We should take that boat," pointing behind him, "and leave."
Yeah, I put my hand in the water before we do that. Just kind of the same motion that I've generally done before.
You don't sense anything moving in the water near the village, other than the flow of the mechanical currents.
I look over at Flathead and I say, "I suppose that we should."
Let us. Do you board the boat with Flathead?
I do. I take the harpoon, but I fasten it to the side.
Alright.
I'm definitely not holding it on my person. I am, however, holding the knife on my person.
Alright. Flathead brings you out to a distant location. You see the murky waters twisting below. Flathead says, "You must dive here. Swim between those two pylons." He points to metal islands and the gap between them and an overhang over them. "Take a left. Take another left. You should find the access point. If there is a way to commune with the synapse through the machine, it is there. I will await you until the coming of the light. Then I will leave.
Thank you. I'm going to be taking this harpoon with me.
That is advisable.
I shall see you again.
It is my express wish that you triumph.
Pat him on the head. Good boy. Okay.
With that,
Let's
you
swim.
peel out. Alright, so you got a +2 to swim, so give me...
I'm so happy I chose that random ass fucking thing to take a +2 and... Good God.
Give
All
me
right,
a 5d4.
5d4. Alright. Let's go!
Alright, you
go!
succeed. You plunge into the water, but things are dark. It's hard to see in the water. You feel like your eyes are so limiting. You feel a synapse trying to slot in from behind. Do you offer your port?
I'm very tempted to let the influence overwhelm my senses and guide me further. It hasn't led me astray so far, has it?
Yeah, of course.
So, why shouldn't I?
Mm-hmm.
I think I will, with my harpoon safely strapped to my back and
Alright, you gain
my knife
memory point.
belt. I think I'm gonna go ahead and let it take me where it wants to take.
Suddenly, it is like you know all there is to know, and you experience the full light of the flicker,
Wow.
even though it is still dark. And yeah, you see what is up ahead. Navigate as you will.
Okay.
The water pushes you southerly. Yeah, you find the spot that was spoken of.
So it said left. So I'm like here, right? And left is the way towards this way.
Yes, you climb. So you come up upon some pipes and some wreckage that are in your way. You're going to have to climb from here, and you're wet, slicked, as your head breaks the surface of the waves.
Oh no, I'm slick and wet, and now I have to climb over objects, exposing my ass to the viewer? Wow.
Yes, I am an anime writer, but due to these factors, unless you find a tool or memory, it'll be a 2d4 roll.
Well, I might as well.
So your options are, you have memory points, you don't have any influence points, or you could let the synapse take you, although you feel if you let it do it again so soon after, the odds of a feral blackout are incredibly high.
It kind of sounds hot. But let me think. No, I probably don't want to do that. Okay. Okay. Let me go for a memory. Let's go for a memory.
What memories do you have that might help you climb?
Honestly, let's think. Good memory. It's gotta be good memory because otherwise I'll be at like a 1d4. That'd be shitty. So I fell. A long time ago, I was trying to escape, and I fell, and I was broken on the floor. But that wasn't the floor. That was beneath the floor where I fell. I hit pipes. I hit refuse. I had to emerge from that fall. I had to grab and wrestle and jostle my way out from the wreckage after I escaped that building.
Mm-hmm.
After I failed to perform an escape maneuver, I succeeded in climbing out, broken and battered, out from the wreckage. And I probably collapsed on the floor when I was done, but You bet your ass I didn't break. And I channeled that energy.
All right.
So probably...
So that leaves you at a total of, because it is a +2, that leaves you at a total of 4d4.
Okay. 4d4.
So slipperily clamber up. You manage to go up and over, and bam, you're here.
Nice. Nice. Alright. Okay. Well, I'm on the other end. I guess I continue.
Alright. Yeah, around this corner you see a chamber of deep waters in the distance, but closer up, some sort of mechanical conduit. Some machinery and blinking lights. Beep, 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 beep.
Okay. So, what are my stats looking like right now?
You mean, in terms of anything you might have that would help with this?
Yeah. Did I make a roll earlier about beeping lights?
You did make a roll, but you didn't invoke a flashback or get anything plus or minus.
Okay. Fair enough. So, do I garner any information from these flashing lights?
When you hold your hand up, you feel as if though an electrical feeling courses along your hands, and then your torso, and then your legs. You feel as if though your gilded attire will help you here. You gain extra dice for connecting to this machine due to wearing it.
Well, okay, I take that shit.
Alright, so you want to make me a 4d4 roll? And you can still invoke a memory on this action roll if you'd like.
I can't imagine what memory I'd invoke. You'd have to help me if I were to do so.
Nah, yeah, you can give me a 44.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Ah,
okay,
success.
Wow, that's a good fucking roll.
Clarity. A feeling of the synapse. A feeling of the Leviathan. A feeling of electricity pulsing through you. Shocks and shakes. Quivers and quakes. You know your devil, as it were. You see a great bay, a maw. You feel as if though the beast that has marked you is not trying to hunt you. It is trying to accept you. Subconsciously, you set out the cry to enter it. But now you resist it. It cannot understand. It was not built to understand. Through its fleshy membranes, it has a biomechanical heart and a mind. And as you think this, you see a sparking, a bit of goop come out of this machine. It seems like it, too, is thrumming with something not totally inorganic. And you feel as if though a great shifting in the waves has occurred near you, very near you. You hear a splish splash around this corner.
Please do not play that song. It would ruin the vibe completely.
I'm not going to play that song.
Thank you. So that goop,
Yes, it sticks to the tips, but it breaks after a moment.
yeah, I touch it and I... Okay.
Kind of like battery acid. Probably not a good idea.
Cool. I don't lick it again.
You don't know what battery acid is. You go for it. Alright. It tastes zesty.
It tastes like fucking lemons. Alright.
Come around the corner, you see within this watery chamber the beast. It has descended. It looks at you. It spreads its maw at you. It rears back, as if though ready to rush forward, to overwhelm you. Tell me, Asha.
I walk into the water.
Alright. It slams you against the wall. It is attempting to grapple you, to consume you. What course of action do you take?
I let it.
Nice. You give in. The synapse connects. You gain a memory point. You are pulled into its body. Everything is black. The walls are tight. You can't see, but you feel. You feel everything around you. You feel strong. You feel powerful. You feel a powerful breaking tension all around you. It beats you and you are helpless to stop it. Your mind races, damaged by the surrounding sense, blazing, burning through your mind. Roll me 64.
Okay.
You go down. You don't go down any mental steps. You writhe until finally you feel yourself nestled in a biomechanical cocoon deep somewhere. And now, as you reach out your hands, your gloves and your legs touch you and your body to a new body, a new mind that is yours to control. And you feel an overwhelming purpose. You have been summoned. You have been summoned to kill the killers, to drive out those who have killed, to hunt the hunters.
Well, alright.
You descend. You ascend, rather, and you approach the break of the water. You see your target, or you see a boat with a bot on it. He is not what you are here to hunt.
Yes, I consciously advise my own self that that is not what I'm here for.
Do you swim back to the village?
I suppose I do.
Give me 7d4 to swim.
Wow. This is such a fun game. Mm-hmm.
You come upon the village. Everybody is asleep. They do not suspect.
Is the doctor there?
You could creep to his house. Do you want to?
I do.
Alright. Roll me 3d4 to sneak around. Unless you want to trigger a memory or something that would help you sneak.
Woo. A little late for triggering a memory. I guess I don't sneak.
I mean, you can just roll a straight 3d4.
I did. It was not a great roll.
Alright, I will say, you got an influence point for choosing to enter it, if you want to spend that.
Oh, well, What do the influence points let you do aside from re-rolling?
Change one minor environmental detail.
Okay. The environmental detail is that the doctor's house is adjacent to the water and overlooks it. There's a balcony.
Yeah, he's looking out. He's looking out from the back of his house, from his little shanty. You're not stealthy, but you approach suddenly. He looks down at you, quizzically, paralyzed perhaps by fear, or perhaps with hope.
Mm-hmm. Now, can I articulate in this form? Or can I just gesture?
Do you want to try and say... What would you try to say?
I want to ask the doctor where the pursuers are.
Alright, so... It comes out as where? And he's like, what? You can speak? Oh my, please. He drops to his knees. Please, forgive me.
Where pursuers?
Pursuers? I don't understand. You mean the ones that are hunting the woman?
Yes.
They are around the edge. He points and he says, you follow the reservoir's islands until you come to the next village over, and then you go out along their crane and you arrive. You arrive at that's the last village we heard that they were at, but I don't know precisely where they are right now.
In my head, I'm like, that'll do. It probably comes out as good.
Alright.
If anything. It's fucking fun.
Alright, the beast hungers.
Mm-hmm.
You feel its hunger as your own.
Damn. Well, I'm kind of hoping that it'll satiate itself when I get to the pursuers.
You're hungry right now, though, and I mean, you have such a delicious little morsel in front of you. You could try and fight against it. You could try and attack Dr. Timoon, or you could,
All right, how do I resist? How do I resist the urge to consume Dr. Timmett? He's been so helpful to me, and I don't harbor any ill will towards him.
So right now you have a -1 to staying cool. This isn't necessarily a staying cool roll, but what do you think? I would say this action is like, this is willpower, right?
Yeah, it's definitely willpower.
This is willpower. Do you want to have a flashback to a memory that would help you with willpower?
Do I have the memory points to spend on that?
You have up to 3 memory points.
Well, I mean, like, you definitely didn't take one off for the last time. So I think I'm at 2 memory points.
Sure, you did gain 1 while you dived in the water, but yeah, alright, so you're 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because remember, you gave in, yeah, alright. You do feel you giving in so much might make it harder for you to spare him now.
Oh, interesting. Well, that's an interesting concept that you totally just invented now and definitely weren't horny for a long time. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to resist, and I want to bring back a memory of me. Okay, so we've built this whole Ashore conflict concept up in my mind. I'm thinking the lie didn't work, and I was caught. I was imprisoned, and yet perhaps my payload got where it was intended to go, but I was imprisoned. And I was told that if I were to rat out my comrades, the people who ended up selling the weapons to the rebels and causing this conflict to become hot rather than cold, if I were to do that, then perhaps I would be given, many an enlightened and lessened sentence. But yet, I did not give up my comrades, and I did not take the lighter sentence because, fuck the police.
All right.
So that's what I'm thinking.
All right, so you're so you have a +1 to willpower because willpower is pretty general, and that's 4d4.
Okay. And it doesn't help me in the slightest.
All right, so you could spend an influence point to reroll, or you could accept.
Or I could just accept that I'm going to eat Dr. Timmett and earn the animosity of this town that has grown to love me, or at least not reject me immediately. Huh. I could spend that influence point, but I'm not going to.
He looks up at you, quivering. You have 2 choices here. You could either melee him or primal attraction.
Let's go with primal attraction.
Alright, so you're getting a +2 from your monstrous form already. So that would be 5. And then you go 6, 7 for primal attractions +2.
64. Or 74. Yeah.
Alright, Timoon will try and, counter this, but he is... Yeah, so, you see, so he's like, please, just spare everyone else, and the beast sways. Tentacles reach up for him. His voice catches in his throat. Finally, it all grabs him, and then you feel physically around you the meat churn as he plunges into the beast's maw. Very satisfying crunch. You hear a breaking, and you feel fluids strain and drain all around the beast, satiating both it and you. Feel well fed.
Amazing.
Somebody screams. It's your cue to leave.
Yep, I sink into the ocean. Fuck that. I know where I'm heading.
Yes. You have a long voyage to make, but you're good at swimming. But this is more a question of how well you navigate. And you are doing so in an unfamiliar form.
Well, I'm sure the form knows where it's going. Can I give it some ballpoints and let it lead?
So you're trying to hunt a particular prey. So what's your plan for your plan for catching it is just to say, like trust its hunting instincts?
I want to say that, but I do have a very strong image of the boat that we're looking for.
Okay.
And also I have a strong image of the people that are on the boat that we're looking for.
Yes. Okay. I would call this a 5d4 overall then.
Okay. We're hoping here. We're hoping. Woo!
Nice. Yeah. You trail up behind it. It looks like it's slightly dinged up since the last time you saw it.
Do I have any false memories of doing that myself?
You try and reach into the mind of the beasts. You feel like you could access its memories, but it would access yours at the same time.
What a dangerous proposition. What sort of mechanical situation would that be?
You're just gonna have to you have to swing and find out.
I suppose I want to find out.
All right, give me roll me 3d6.
Ooh, I got a 6.
It's a Storm Constantine. Roger Twee, is that okay? Yeah, so you managed to hold on to your psyche to some extent. You become stressed as you remember fighting and getting stung at by little spitters. They hurt. You had to withdraw for a few days and heal. You see Anukar walk out on the prow. He's looking around, almost like he suspects something is near. Do you take this opportunity to strike, or do you try and hide and stalk longer?
So I've seen him before. He's the guy who had me imprisoned earlier.
Yeah, he had the Memotech weapon or Memotech device he used on you to awaken a memory point or an influence point.
Yes. Well, that motherfucker's gotta die, by my estimations.
So you just want to fucking utterly gut him?
I want to pull him down with a tentacle and deal with him underwater.
That's
about gunning him.
That's a 6d6. 2 from your form, 1 from melee.
Okay. Roll 6d6.
Oh yeah.
That's on it.
You drag him below. Everybody screams. People grab their death spitters and turn to fire upon you, but you swing in so fast. He's wounded. You have him in your tentacly maws. He's trying to go for a boot knife to stab at you. What do you do?
I jostle the boot knife out of his hand. I want this to happen slowly, and I want him to know that it was me doing this. You drag him.
Okay, so you drag him down. You knock his hands. You bind all of his limbs. You shove your tendrils slowly into the orifice, and then you blink and you see through your eyes again. And you see that the membrane in front of you has become translucent. You can see your arms and torso and legs fused with the biomechanica around you, and you see through the membrane Anukar looking down at you in shock, disbelief, and, in a sense, wonderment. He knew you were valuable, but he could not hold the flame. The acid pours in across his body, and he screams. The vibrations rock the membrane in front of you. His skin turns raw. It begins to turn to bone. The water filters out of the chamber. It turns steamy hot. He cooks alive in an acid bath, slowly tearing at his sides, careful not to melt his skull, until finally, utterly spent, of all shakes, screams, and fluids, a bit of him simply digests above you, and you feel... tasty. Can't help but notice, though, that one thing doesn't get melted. It's the memotech device. It's in the orifice above you.
Well, I suppose I grabbed that, but I think we're not done here.
You force it into a vestibule to the side, and yeah, you want to resurface?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab the next person on the other side, mind you. I think I swim around.
Yeah. Alright, so roll me a 3d4 to be stealthy. Unless you want to flashback stealth.
Well, I mean, okay, fair enough. I feel like my escape thing kind of almost counts, but this is working. This did it in and of its own self, so yeah.
Alright, they do spot you coming, and one of them fires a death spitter at you.
It's a real faux pas right there.
And so they're now going to roll 1d4. Alright, they do 2 marks of damage against this form. Death Spitter spikes shred at the tendrils and tips of your body, but then you crash back up, ready to grab at it. The companion's too busy hiding. They don't have a good bead. They didn't know which side you were coming from. This guy alone saw you. Now you roll that 6d6 for the melee as he tries to beat back at you. Oh, sorry. D4s. Oh, we shouldn't be doing these 6s.
Oh,
very silly.
Roll.
Yeah.
64s?
Yeah, 64. Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
You overtake him, and do you drag him below again?
Yeah.
This one is a tougher nut to track. He's covered in tight armor, but if you grab and twist, you can find that, much like a crab, you can break. There's screams from within the visor, but, you go over them, and you see this tender white meat within, and red blood to suck out through the many pores within the central chamber. He dies slowly, his weapon knocked to the side earlier. His armor doesn't dissolve, but you poke and crack at it, and slowly, over the course of perhaps 10 minutes, turn everything within to nothing but a red paste that swirls within your system. You're getting gorged. You feel your tummy swell. You realize the suit is feeding you the nutrients from these bodies. Is it cannibalism? If somebody else eats it? Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know if I feel horrible about this or great, but I also don't know how much agency I have. Can I grab the memory device within the belly of the beast, as it were?
You can slurp it out of a nearby orifice into your cockpit, but to pilot it, your arms are fully embedded in the biomechanica, as are your legs. So, you can put it in the chamber with you.
I'm piloting. I'm doing more mecha combat today. Holy shit. God, I'm actually having too much fun as the thing. I don't know that my character would have the wherewithal to individualize herself from this thing. She only just woke up, goddammit, like just a couple days ago. She's really been asleep half the time she's been an individual. I think she just lets it happen.
Alright, do you want to, you could attack from below now to, like, totally blindside. You want to give me another 66? Oh, sorry, it's 64. Wow, I keep going to D6.
You really, really do keep saying 66. Oops.
The tendril wraps up the side, knocks his helmeted head into the banister. He goes limp. You drag him inside. And this one sleeps calmly until the acid wakes him up for a few brief minutes of screaming as his meat melts within. Another suit of armor to shloop back out into the waves.
Marvelous. I certainly would imagine that I do so. So, what's this shanty boat held together by?
The base of it seems like you don't see any joints or welds to the base of it. It's more like an upside down insect carapace of metal. It is one of many strange metal contraptions on Nibiru. You suspect it was taken from somewhere and the rest of the shanty ship bolted onto the top. It has outboard engines you could attack. That would render it dead in the water.
I think I go ahead and do that.
I'm gonna give you a concept success there. There's nothing to stop you.
Yeah.
You bash
fuck it
them
up the
vulnerable.
interior of this carapace.
The drive is dead, but the shell is still whole. What do you do?
Can I take out the steering compartment from below?
You'll have to reach your tentacles at least slightly up the side, but that shouldn't be too big of a risk.
What do I roll?
66. Hey, Shay.
4 or 66?
64. God. All rolls in this game are D4. Anytime I say 6, I'm being stupid.
I get a success.
You bash at the controls. You hear somebody cock a death splitter from within this chamber, but you don't see them.
Okay. Well, having destroyed that, I sink back into the waves. This is a weak point. What does the carapace look like underneath this?
It looks, again, fully, like, no weld points, no clear construction or place to begin your assault.
But it does have a weakened or half-removed pontoon.
So you've destroyed, oh, you mean like the back?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, so it does look like earlier in an all-out assault you remember cracking it. But you hurt yourself in the process. It was so strong. And it also involved a lot of secreting acid onto the lower portion for over a period of time.
I would like to secrete acid here, so as to entirely remove this pontoon.
Alright, roll me 60 d4. As you, hands and legs deep in the fleshy maw of this thing, twist and pull and churn and turn and pop off. It's sort of coming apart now, and you hear somebody shouting what sounds like perhaps a prayer.
Let them pray.
Indeed.
And yet, I should probably focus on myself. I think I'm stuffed. My form feels no hunger yet lingering, correct?
Not other than you have worked up a bit of an appetite by getting wounded. The shots earlier did pain you. So I mean, you could do it for an appetizer, but you'd be being greedy.
Well, I mean, I'm not entirely averse to greed. I go ahead and acid this one pontoon as well.
Alright. As you do it, you see that his death spitter is aimed right at this gas can. When he sees that coming off, you just hear a click, followed by a bang. Roll me 5d4 to dodge.
Gonna go out like Jaws. Oh, hey, I got a success.
You manage to dodge back and avoid the damage, although you are still hurt. You feel something suckle at your limbs, across your torso. The thing you're piloting is, well, it's kind of hungry, and it's hurt. The death spikes have riven it, and you know, it's nourished you, and it would be thinks it would be quite cash money if you were to nourish it.
Oh shit.
Every step you go down your body tracker, you'll be able to heal it. One wound.
Fascinating. Well, see, I've actually done what I came here to do. I'm not sure what else there is to be done.
Well, yeah, but like, the fact that you're done with your job doesn't mean that the sleeve you're in doesn't have needs.
Oh, well, I mean, I suppose I...
Alright.
endeavor
If
to
you
do
heal it all the way, you'd be going down to wounded. The state you were in where you needed to be healed for days. Or you could just go down to beaten, which you could easily come back from, but you wouldn't fully satisfy it.
Where are we near?
You are near one of the fishing villages. By now it's day. There are some ships out. You feel in the distance.
Yeah. Was there any small fishing boat nearby?
Yeah, there is. You see some fishers on board it. Just, having a little fishy time.
I go ahead and allow the miners up.
Okay, so it wants to go full. You'll have to convince it to wait using either your willpower or primal attraction. Willpower to just say no. Primal attraction to say but you have an appetizer waiting.
Indeed. So I go ahead and use my primal attraction.
5d4.
And I convince it that there's food up ahead.
You stroke its neurons, writhe, twist, and thrust its jelly-like brain, and it is satisfied with reducing your body track to beaten, healing up one of its wounds, and advancing. But yes, you do see the two fishers. They seem to be casting their nets. There is schools of little fishes floating about.
I feel bad about this.
Yeah, they seem to be, an older man and his son.
Let's go for the old guy first. He's lived his life. 5 grams.
Amazing. All right, give me a 64. Just break the water and attack. Yeah, you grab him. You have him in your tentacles, breaking the limbs to more easily slot him in. As this guy says, "Father, no!" and then tries to stab you with a fishing spear. Roll me another 64.
Woof.
He slices at you, but you manage to knock him away. Do you want to simply knock him away, or do you want to grab him as well?
Kind of knock him into the water.
You knock him into the waves. The old man lets out a hue and cry before you gulf him down.
Am I feeling hungry yet? Or have I satiated myself?
You feel like if you just, let this guy stew, you'll probably figure out the last of it.
Sorry, that was...
He cries out for his son, John, many final times, but John does not hear. You are without wounds, but John is back up on, and he has a fishing spear, and he's looking around for you. He's crying out for his father. What do you do?
To avoid the cycle of revenge that I know will ensue, I'm gonna go and try and grab him as well.
Alright, this is 64 to 64.
I'm gonna lose this. Oh, I guess I did not.
You did actually. He gores one of the sides, and he leaps up to the mouth. He's trying to get in. He doesn't know that his father is gone. He's stabbing at your inner orifice after having wounded you, forcing you to another round of combat. Roll me another 64.
Damn. It's actually gonna kill me. I have an influence left, don't I?
You do. Do you want to spend it now? You don't think he's gonna kill you with this. Your form can take some damage.
I'll save it for the next round.
Alright. He pierces the inner lips, and he falls within. He's in the next chamber now, surrounded by your acid spitters, which are going to give you an advantage. He's looking around. He doesn't realize you've already dissolved his father in the same place. You realize that you could make the screen translucent again if you wanted to.
Ooh, I do.
Alright, he looks bewildered, amazed. He looks up at you. You realize that you do have your pheromone releasers. You could roll primal attraction to stop him from continuing to fight. It is, after all, natural sometimes for prey to stick out their necks.
Sorry, I rolled that wrong, but
Alright,
yeah,
I'll call it.
C5D4.
It's 64 in this instance because of the pheromone releases you have there. All right, he drops his spear, sinks to his knees, and
Let me go
then
ahead.
from the shins below, he begins to melt. And as he does so, he is transfixed on your form. He almost, for a moment, seems to raise his hands in a prayer towards you. He has seen something miraculous, a heavenly visage within the belly of a beast, a woman in gilded form within a monster's belly. This is the miracle for which he ends his life.
My.
You are somewhat satisfied, but still partially wounded from that attack. It has pierced its way through your mouth, though, and it's harder to keep foes within. You feel like you might need to retreat and heal for a time. You feel your mind much like it was when you remembered the fish racing swiftly. Human thoughts beginning to fade away from you. You feel that your arms and legs are even deeper in the biomechanica now. It looks like it's expanding over you. Like it wants to encase you. It has not gone well without a driver. It doesn't want to lose you.
Hi.
Wait, did I lose you? When I said that, did I actually lose your connection? Hold on. Oh, no, I hear you. Oh, I hear you. Okay. You're coming through, but your video is frozen.
No, I'm here. Do you hear me?
I hear you, but your video is frozen. Also, like, there's like big gaps between when you talk, and I don't know if that's like your delay. Okay. So yeah, the question now is: do you give in, or do you give in, or do you try to exit? Do you give in, or are you trying to exit the beast?
Yeah. Well, I was. Is it the beast? But giving in is so tempting. Should I make a willpower check to determine if I stay in or not?
Yep. Give me a Here's the thing. Give me a 4d4, and you're gonna have to contest against yourself. So first roll me your 4d4. That is your will to fight, but here's the thing. This thing is you. Roll your 5d4 primal attraction.
Okay.
Oh, but you managed to overcome it. And, yeah, a swift swim later, the beast finds you, and, it comes up to the edge of, something. And it disgorges you. You look around, and you find something looking awfully familiar around you. You are back at the beginning again. And as the beast, sits there, cockpit open, awaiting further instruction, you wonder if you haven't been here before. And you start to ponder. You start to remember. You remember that you were somebody, that you traveled the land, that there are people out there still counting on you. But also, now that you're out of it, you feel so small and weak. You see its powerful form, and you're back in the middle of nowhere. How are you going to get out of here? You could take the vehicle, right? It's just a vehicle, just a bodysuit, just a form. Do you let it go? Or do you return?
I think having made my choice to choose freedom and individuality, and then to feel so crushingly defeated by its absence, by the absence of that power agency, to feel the way I feel right now, so moved and alienated and powerless, to feel my lacking in function and form. I fall into the water, as I did in the very beginning. I And to let the current take me
Amazing.
inside her.
Oh wait. Take you inside her?
And let her engulf me. Yeah.
All right. Like a
inside
flower
the thing, I'll let
petal,
her engulf me.
it rises up like a reverse flower petal, grabs at you, and then with a sudden swishing of bubbles and currents, shunts you hard down fast into the biomechanica. Only the black remains. You drift, and there, the story of Asher of Asher is left off for now. So, yeah, that was my first ever Nibiru game. Sorry to anybody who knows the lore if I did a bad job with it. I sort of winged most of this, but yeah. Pat, I guess this is kind of your feedback phase. What do you think of it? Hmm? Are you talking? I'm not hearing you. Pat?
Yeah, absolutely. I love. Yep. Let me put on another glove so that at the very least, I don't seem kind of. Hello. Hello?
Yeah, I think you crashed there for a second.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, this computer is old and shitty, and not the one that I'm going to be doing very much with in the future. And if I can't get that one fucking fixed in the next week, I'm buying a new fucking computer. Anyway, so okay, this was an absolute blast. I'm assuming you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Cool. This was a blast. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Absolutely beautiful session. I loved everything you did with it, from the thematic beginning, the middle segment, which was interesting and unique, and the conclusion, which was absolutely super fucking horny and like living for it. Fucking fully up my alley. Great job. Wow, you bitch. But yeah. No, great before it got super horny is absolutely the vibe I will totally be angling for with regards to my upcoming Nibiru 3-shot on Penny with a Tail, because you fully nailed. When I was reading the book, just you fully nailed the interesting, fake nostalgia, confusion, and yet vibing with the place, amnesiac vibe that I would absolutely love to reiterate when I do my own 3-shot on Penny with a Tail. So just out of the park, phenomenal. In the very beginning, just you sold the scene. Everything after that was beautiful. This is a very interesting setting and system. This system is nothing like I've ever played before, but now that I've played it as a player, I feel like I get a kind of sense for how it's supposed to be run. I think Lee did a great job of that. And I think that this is just going to be something that I thoroughly enjoy exploring further in the future. Fantastic. Just, Lee, you did great. This setting and system, really fun. Can't wait to delve further into it. Yeah, that's my feedback. What I want to see more of is more of you being an awesome GM and super great to me with regards to doing things totally random and and at the very minimal request of being like, hey, we should run Nibiru sometime in the near future, and you're like, yes, I'll do it right now. Just beautiful. Thank you very much for helping me out here, and yeah, I can't wait to see what you do next Friday with fucking Dungeon Bitches. That's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a huge ass blast.
Yeah. Well.
All right. So yeah.
I think with that.
Thank you.
I think we're ready to roll the roll. Thank you all for coming out. If you don't already know, we got a streamer links in there. !links. If you want to roll the roll. Remember, as Dickard says, you're either a benefit or a hazard. and we aim to be a benefit. So until then, see what you remember, vagabonds. Damn, I'm the king of coming up with corny bullshit. Just off top. All right.
Damn straight you are. Show me your face, bitch. Show me your face.
Yeah, once I